What's up, guys? So today I'm gonna sort of do another Storytime video, purely because it relates to the intro pack video that I uploaded earlier today. So the stories that I'm going to tell you relate to snakes, and I did mention that I was going to make this video in that video. So yeah, let's just let that intro play and I'll get right back to you with these. Alright, so there's actually two stories that I'm going to tell you, both of which relate to snakes. They're both kind of short, which is why I'm putting them both in the same video. So the first one was probably about 18 months ago. More than that, now that I think about it. No, it would have been about 18 months ago. I was back then we were living on the other side of town, and I used to ride my bike pretty much every day, whereas now I will just sort of walk, probably because of what happened in this particular story. So let's get into it. So I was riding on this particular day, and over on that side of town there is this bit of bushland that has like some walking slash riding tracks, and so I was riding my bike down them, and from where I was living I sort of came around the corner, came into where sort of the bush tracks started, and I would usually follow it down to, there's a camping ground way out the back, and then I would follow the dirt road back up to the beach and then just come down the main streets back to home. And so I was out on this particular day riding my bike, and normally people aren't on those particular tracks. Like, it's usually a good spot to go and sort of have time literally by myself, with not a single other human being having to interact with me, sort of thing. And I guess at the time that's why I did it. It was kind of like alone time sort of thing, time to reflect on myself and stress about all my problems. So yeah, so I had gone down these tracks on my bike this particular day, and as I've come, there's sort of closer down to the camping ground, there's this blind corner, and I was absolutely flogging it. I'm going to be honest, I was being a little bit reckless. And as I come around the corner, I've sort of, at literally the last possible second, noticed that there was a snake just peacefully basking in the sun, and I've gone, oh shit. Obviously not wanting to hit the animal. I did not do this deliberately. I want to stress that so much. I did not do this deliberately, but I've accidentally run over it. I do believe I made a video about this at the time, and so yeah, I accidentally hit this poor creature, and thinking, okay, I've just run over it, it's fine, like, looked back to see if it was okay, sort of thing, and with the very quick look behind me, thought it was chasing me, thought that I had angered it and that it was the kind of snake that would chase after you. So I've freaked out, jumped off my bike and sprinted another like 20 meters before daring to turn around, at which point I've seen the snake pull its head out from between the spokes of the wheel and the chain and slither off. And I was like, to this day, I don't know how it got its head caught. I don't know how it got its head caught, but I think as I've gone over it, it's tried to pull away, gotten its head caught somehow, and then I've accidentally been dragging it as I've tried to continue on. So, because the only ways I can think of how it would have gotten its head stuck also involve it, in my mind, trying to use as much logic as possible, also involves it somehow getting decapitated, and that didn't happen, so I'm completely at a loss for an explanation as to how it happened. So to this day I will walk down those paths from now on, just to sort of let snakes and stuff know that I am approaching, and that if they, they want to slither off and hide, they have sort of the footfall vibrations in the ground way of knowing that I'm coming. And I save riding my bike for riding it on the road. And so then that brings us to the second one, which would probably would have only been about 8 months after that, so just under a year ago. I was living out at my now ex-girlfriend's place. Her family had a property out sort of west from here. Has to be west from here because east is the ocean. And so the way the house was set up was you had sort of the main house, then there was the garage, which was connected by a little bit of sort of like the back patio sort of was covered, but like it was still outside sort of thing. And so you came into the garage this way, and then there was another room that they had sort of added on that was being used as my ex-girlfriend's bedroom. And so obviously living there, that's where I was sleeping. So I've come out of the room intending to go inside and have breakfast and just sort of have a day. And as I've sort of come around in my still half asleep state, I've come out of the back of the garage and around the little corner, and sitting literally in the middle of the back patio was this red belly black snake, which would have been about as long as I am tall, at least. Just coiled up nicely, basking in the sun on the cement. And I distinctly remember coming around the corner, seeing it, instantly freezing up and pushing myself as close to the wall as I possibly could. Believe at the time the intention was to assimilate my atoms with its atoms and become one with the wall. And it sort of sat there for a minute or two, and then decided that it was just going to very peacefully slither off, which I was eternally grateful for. I've then sort of taken another second to sort of catch my breath, and then gone, okay, I'm going inside before it decides it wants to come back and bask in the sun. And yeah, everyone inside was like, oh yeah, that happens sometimes. Only the second time in my entire life that I'd seen a snake. The first time I'd accidentally run one over with my bike. I wasn't exactly a huge fan of snakes at the time. So yeah, that was another fun little experience. And so there's like an inside joke with one of my friends that anytime I have, at least there was at the time, but anytime I had some form of experience with a snake, you know, whether it be like on a movie or whatever, like literally any time that myself and at least the image of a snake was in the same spot, my friend would rip on me and tell me that, you know, like because I'd run over the first one with my bike accidentally, that all snakes were now out to get me, which is, I mean, I live in Australia, that's not exactly false, but like, it was more sort of like on the paranoia level of things that they were ripping on me for. So yeah, that's my snake stories for now. If you enjoyed them, please give this video a thumbs up. If you want to hear more storytime videos, because I do have a lot more stories, and I'm constantly adding them to my list, make sure you hit the subscription button and that notification bell so that you are alerted when I upload a new video. You can check all of my socials in the description down below. And yeah, until next time guys, night to A2, and I'll check you later.